Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good
Good
evening,
evening.
friends, starseeds, light warriors, and everybody. I'm Hokyo, and today I have a very important friend in this interview. His name is Etienne Chalon. And Etienne, greetings.
Greetings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I call upon Etienne and ask him questions and let him speak, I need to bring forward a little bit of an introduction because to understand this whole gist of the interview, you need to know about Journey to the West by Sun Wukong. Now, let me get back to Journey to the West. I bought the book back in 2004. But I never read it because it was 6 volumes, 1,770 over pages, and I was so busy. But early this year, in this year of the rat, 2020, all of a sudden I had a lot of messages coming in to me to read the book, complete the book. So I've been reading and I've been busy and I read the book and I understood the whole journey to the West, which now Etienne Chalon, as Sun Wukong in his previous incarnation, is making a journey to the world. Yes. Now, it's very important. This journey to the West was an order by the Tang Emperor to the holy monk Xuanzang to go to India to collect very, very rare scriptures from Buddha. In this journey, which the monk Xuanzang, it took him 14 years to complete the journey and met the Lord Buddha to receive those scriptures. And then he took them back to the Tang Emperor in China, in Chang'an. Now, in this journey, the monk Xuanzang was accompanied by 3 warriors. The first one was Sun Wukong, also known as Monkey King. In the Indian legends, Sun Wukong was also known as Hanuman. But I would advise Etienne, and this is the messages I got this morning only before this interview, to think of himself more as Sun Wukong, as he will get more powers and extra abilities. Now, Sun Wukong was accompanied by Zhu Wuneng, the pig, also a warrior, and Sha Wujing, who was 12 feet tall and heavily built warrior to accompany the Tang priest Xuanzang. Now, the horse cannot be an ordinary horse to journey this 36,000 miles or so, 14-year journey. So the horse was also an offspring of the Dragon King Guanjin. So this is a very special horse who accompanied the Tang monk for this journey to the West, which took him 14 years. Along the journey, there were 81 obstacles in which Sun Wukong, Zhu Wuneng, and Sha Wujing helped the master to overcome, defeat the monsters, defeat the demons, and overcome lots of obstacles along the way, 81 of them, which is 9 times 9. And now, since you know the background, and I was surprised when Etienne Chalon told me and many others, and to the world as well, that he's got to make this journey to the world to collect relics this time, and not the Holy Scriptures. Funny as it is, this is even more important a journey than he accompanied the Tang monk Xuanzang. because these relics will really save the present world. Another background that you need to know is our Earth planet has been under heavy attack from the multiverse and from various other sources. And many warriors, the galactic forces, and everyone has been defending. Up to this point, it now depends on Etienne Chalon and his family to go around and collect these relics. I don't know if you know anything, Etienne, but this morning I got a message that you need to collect at least 12 relics. You don't know? I don't, yeah, at least 12 relics. But I need to make some.
Well, they are,
yeah.
From what we know, there are some important relics in Italy, Australia, Canada. There are other ones that are like off reach, like on the moon, Mars, Antarctica, and places like that. These, we would not be able to collect them physically. And then there are other less important, but still important stones or other objects in other countries that need to be recovered.
Yeah, I get it that along the journey, this time you will get messages and you will be led and you will know what to collect and so on. The other thing is that, Etienne, I'm going to reveal to you something which is important and I got only this morning. You know, in the journey to the West, your warrior companions were Zhu Wuning, the pig, and Shao Wujing, the mighty warrior. Mm-hmm. I am surprised and I need confirmation because I discovered that the horse that accompanied the tank monk and offspring of the Dragon King, Guan Yin, is associated with your daughter. Yes, I need confirmation, but I'm just relaying this news to you for you to investigate.
Give me 1 second. Sophia? Il dit que dans l'histoire du voyage vers l'ouest, qu'il y avait le roi sage, le moine et le cheval. Il dit que peut-être que le cheval était toi. Est-ce que le cheval avait un lien avec toi? Non? Ok. Non?
Qui dit ça?
Hawk.
Hawk. Il est trompé.
No, she says no link. She doesn't have a link with the horse.
It doesn't matter, Etienne. You know, yeah. Because what I get, I relate to you, so that this journey actually ties with the journey to the West. And now this is your other journey. Now, your girlfriend, she's associated with Shao Wujing, the 12-foot warrior. So you have now your daughter and your girlfriend with you in this journey as a family, and along the journey, you will get messages and you will know what to do, and you need to think as Sun Wukong. The other thing is, if you happen to see the numbers 333 in the vehicles in front of you along your journey, it's a message to call for help. If you see 444, it's a message that everything is A-OK, all right? If you see the number 555, huge changes on the way. And if you see 999 many times in a day along your journey, it's near completion. All right?
All right.
Okay. So these are the little messages I get. And oh, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. The things that I reveal is about 85% accurate and 78.3% accurate. But anyway, we leave that aside. We will be able to find more information as you start on your journey. So, Etienne Chalon, the stage is yours, and tell us more.
All right, thank you for the introduction. So, yeah, I mean, I just released a 50-minute video that is explaining the whole situation, and it's kind of a very complex situation. So it's not something I can just like say in 5 minutes. Like we've been, since I came back to Mexico 8 months ago, we've been under non-stop attacks from lots of different groups. And it's like, I can't say it like that, but like you cannot really, it's like you really need to understand the full picture to really grasp what it is. And it took us a lot of time to even see what is behind that. And like we just got, when we got into the house, so my vision is really clear. Like there's not really anyone in the in the whole community that I've seen who can see things as clearly as mine. But lately it's been a little bit foggy with all of the noise and chaos around. But my daughter, her vision is crystal clear. So her perspective is just as good as mine, and she sees a lot more details, especially in in the more concrete things around us. I see more of the larger picture. She sees all the details around us with a lot of clarity. One of the things she said is that the house that we're in, I mean, there's a lot of people who are attacking us from a lot of agents or neighbors and stuff. But when we came in, there were already a rich family that moved into the house. And a group of witches, they just teleport in the house, they take the people, they teleport them into elsewhere in the country or in another country and dump them in a garbage bin. And then they just take the house. And they kind of they had to deal with the agency, and they she said they prepaid for the year or something to make sure that we actually stay there. And so, yeah, they just made the house available to us. And there's been lots of groups either trying to kill us, kidnap my daughter, or recruit her as an assassin. And it's one group after the other. And it's well, what the heck is going on? So, yeah, it's been I have not been able to get any work done for the past 8 years because of all of those attacks. But it's not just us getting attacked. They're attacking us. Their priority, their goal was to prevent me from working and from actually getting things done so that I stay out of their way while they implement their agenda elsewhere. And during the year, now what I recently realized, if you do muscle testing on the world population for 2019, we would get 4.5 or 4.6 billion people, something like that. Not the 7.7 billion. So they inflate the numbers. The actual population was about 4.5. Now it is about 3.5.
Shocking, really shocking.
You muscle test it, now you get 3.5 instead of 4.5. And there can be a lot of distortions. I spend a lot of time measuring the number, remeasuring, clearing the distortion, remeasuring until I get clear number without distortion. And I just today released another video titled 22.9% of the world population, 22.9% death of the world population is dead in 2020. And then I go into all of the different causes. It's just like we've been getting attacked from all sides, it's coming from all kind of different causes. The COVID-19, well, the Wuhan virus is responsible for 30% of it. And that leaves 70% of it totally unaccounted for. So look on my channel for the video, 22.9% of the world population is dead in 2020. And yeah, it's pretty, it's a tough pill to swallow. And do you measure that it's very, very radical information I'm bringing here. Do you you're very good at muscle testing also. Do you validate that my information is correct?
Yes, Etienne, your information is way out of this world. is hard to believe or accept, and I've always counter-checked it. So that is why I went along with your information, is because I counter-checked it and found it to be accurate. All right. And there are other independent friends of ours who have counter-checked your work. Besides, you are very open in the sense that you put out information, you ask a few of us to counter-check it independently. All right. So I independently see the accuracy. Some of them are over 95%. And therefore, that's the reason why I tag along with what you say. It's hard to accept, Etienne.
But what I get into, like, there's a couple of people who were really close friends of mine, and it's like Marco was one of them. So I don't want to get into that, but maybe no, maybe I should mention, because probably you interviewed him on. My daughter he was supposedly protecting my daughter ever since she was born. But my daughter has got very, very clear vision. One day, she looked at the, that's after, there is like a death creator. It's exactly the witch in the movie The Witches that's in cinema. It's like the leader of the, all-powerful leader of the witches. That she killed her henchman and she moved into a house in her privada. And that like very, very powerful creature has black holes instead of the eyes. Got like two big holes in the nose, big crack going ear to ear, exactly like they show in the movie, where they absolutely insist that all this is real. They say it at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end of the movie that this is real. But that's been our experience. I mean, they look exactly like that, except the eyes and the nose that they made more conservative. And so my daughter looked at it, and then we're talking about stuff, and then she looked at the picture of Marco, and she said, "Well, he wants to eat me." And she said that he already kidnapped 3 of the empresses of Andromeda. He told me that there were 7 empresses, but there are actually 10 plus the 3 he already kidnapped. But she was the most important. So he wanted to kidnap all 10, fuse them into one, and then eat it to absorb their power. And that death creator was working for him. Oh. Well, that's what she told me. And her vision, her perspective is just as good as mine. She's very, like, sometimes can have distortion, but she gets things a lot clearer than me, especially for things nearby like that. And what someone else told me, that it's the various people been like bringing information afterward, and basically he wanted to be just like me, take everything that I have, and then dispose of me. That was the idea since the beginning. But when it comes to talking about, like, lately his attitude was, oh, just chill out, like, you could, like, don't like try to look for a battle, or like don't look for a battle, just chill out, everything will work out okay, while I was having these very, very heavy attacks. And by the way, that death creator, that witch, she did kill me in a few timelines. My daughter had like, she had very, very, very detailed dream where everybody around her got killed one after the other. She was in the, like in the picture, I had a picture with that, like a picture of a truck containing human remains. She was kidnapped into one of those trucks, and my head chopped off while laying on the ground in the truck next to her. But a dream, normally dreams are not detailed like that. If it has so much details, it's because that already happened in other timelines. She already experienced it.
Etienne, I'm beginning to understand your situation, because of late, and in fact, only yesterday, a very close friend of mine in Hong Kong, another light worker, has been actually infiltrated and infected and wouldn't listen a word to what I say. It is sad. And yesterday, I had an incident where my most important possession, my computer bag, with my computer data and my other important information in exercises, books and all went missing. And I am still trying to understand whether it was a timeline shift or whatever, because I didn't find it in my car. I didn't find it in anywhere I went. I retraced my steps and I asked the guard to look at the CCTV. And finally, I went back to my truck and I found it in my car. Thank goodness, thank God. So it was mysterious. It was really something. So I understand now that you are also experiencing much, much more than this. And you have put it out in the internet for people to verify. You know, I'm a bit more secretive, you know, and I don't put my issues on the internet, but slowly I'm facing lots of these funny situations. And then therefore, I understand your point of view. And besides, I go by my intuition and so on and so far. What you said, I agree.
I mean, I've been going through a lot lately, and I'm sharing that, and I think maybe it's just me going through it. But actually, as I'm sharing it, I'm realizing it's not just me. I mean, I'm going through that, but a lot of other people are getting attacked in the same way. It's just they don't necessarily recognize that it's happening. A lot of people are getting infiltrated, corrupted, put under complete mind control. Like those energetic infections, very serious problem. And you've been saying lately, you've been getting a lot of like women trying to kind of communicate with you and infiltrate your energy, but like very beautiful non-human women contacting you on Facebook. Another woman was telling me that they saw like a non-human at like after them like in the parking lot, like just like pulling right in front of their car, and like it was holding their neck in a weird way and definitely looked non-human. And she was like, let's get out of here as fast as possible. And I mean, it's actually happening in a lot of places. And then look, if 20 and some people in the community have been completely corrupted. Some have been killed and replaced with fakes, taking over their memories and identity and just like taking over their place entirely. And a lot of really mind-blowing stuff going on. But if you feel like that 22.9% of the population is dead, I'm not the only one getting those attacks. All those types of attacks I'm getting, a lot of people are experiencing them. It's just that few people get to live through it and get to go through it and live to tell the tale. So,
yeah, we are all living in very so-called interesting times. And, but I have a feeling that, yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying when I talk about, when I get into the topic that a lot of people have been killed and just talking about the energetic infections, various people, like Marco is one of them and several others, they really kind of get very defensive whenever we approach that topic, because that's the agenda that they're working for. Just I published the Journey to the World video, 2 different people, they just post as comment, oh, I measure 30% accuracy, 18% accuracy. There's 2 comments like that. You think it comes from normal people who just like do the muscle testing? No, these are agents working in that agenda who get very nervous whenever we approach this topic. Because like, who is talking about, like people know that they like talk about the virus and lockdown and stuff, but the information that I'm bringing, a lot of people are getting killed by the military in various countries, going door to door, killing the people in their houses. Who else is talking about that in the world?
Exactly. Etienne, crazy as you are, if I may say so, I think people have got to listen to you. And the gist of the story I get is that you also mentioned good is bad and bad is good. The times have changed, everything is topsy-turvy, and the whole chaotic scenario has got everybody confused.
And by the way, as we're talking about this, a lot of really bad energies are coming in. So my daughter just gave me those candies because candies are one of the best ways to kill the attacks and infiltrations. These are working really well. So she got me to buy a bunch of those specific.
I got my tortoise, my dragon tortoise. All right.
I'm like,
so these are chaotic times and very much of confusion, and at every level there has been infiltration and causing light warriors and workers to disintegrate and fall out from each other. So it is now time to unite and see the truth, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of we have the peer-to-peer P2P kinesiology reading group where we all collectively do muscle testing to validate the information. And in that group, it's a lot more important than we think, because that's like that muscle testing thing, measuring accuracy, that's a total game changer. And when we get as a group to validate each other, we don't fall into any of the propaganda and any of the psyops and all of that. We're just parsing through all of the BS. And that, like, in the global picture, that group is actually very important. And for the past year or a bit more, various people were concerned and messaging me that like there were forces trying to infiltrate and corrupt the energy of the group and all of that. And now it's really been coming up to the surface lately. So a lot of people have been under attack. Some have been killed. Like there's one that's been killed and replaced with a fake, and like quite a few Asians I had to kick out of the group. Now I had to add a rule. Now we have several admins in the group. If we measure that someone has malicious intent and we are at least 3 admins to validate it, we kick the person out without a notification. Like we absolutely have to do that. Yeah, we had to kick out quite a few people. So yeah, now the community is like, with all of the attacks and energetic infiltration and all of that, it's kind of like quite weak. But now, kind of like building a new movement, building a new community around this journey to the world, that's going to be the next phase.
Yeah, Etienne, remember when I first interviewed you some time ago, you wanted the first topic in the interview to be discernment, if you remember that, and you talk about muzzle testing. Actually, I confess, when you were talking about discernment and using muzzle testing, I didn't know the significance of that at that point in time. You had a foresight to see what's coming, what's making confusion in the whole community. You know, it is only now that I realize the importance of the muzzle testing and the discernment, you know. So I appreciate your work on that.
And by the way, until what time do you have?
We can go on and do this work until we call it off. No problem. No problem.
Okay, all right. Okay, because yeah, there are quite a few things that we want to talk about in terms of travel, and we're touching a lot of really important topics. So yeah, I just wanted to make
yes,
sure. Yes,
please do. Say what you want, Etienne, because when you're traveling, you probably have very difficult timings and tired off. So I wish you get all your messages that you want to say in this interview, so that, yeah, take your opportunity to say so.
Yeah, it's like when you talked about the muscle testing, it was very important. Something that felt important came to my mind and came here and left. Like I'm not sure where it left, but what was the thing I was thinking about? Anyway, Just let's see if it comes back in 5 seconds. I hate those blanks. Anyway, it's like when something, it feels important, it came into your mind, it feels important, and it's just not there.
Never mind. It'll come back.
Yeah. So yeah, but yes, the muscle testing is absolutely. Oh yes, now it comes back. With the energetic, there's energetic infections, and it's actually the rays of creation that have been corrupted, and there are various energy that are corrupted. Metatron was part of that whole energetic corruption plan, even though he was working with me to write my book, The History of the Universe. But do you validate that Metatron was part of that whole plan?
Well, okay. Yes, indeed. I did it several times. But let me tell you something about Metatron. Something very funny, Etienne.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Metatron who took me to you in the beginning. Took me to you in the beginning. I never knew about you. In fact, the name Etienne, the name Etienne is so foreign to me. I thought it was a product. I didn't know it was a name, you know. And Metatron in several occasions told me about Etienne, 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 until I had to look you up and then henceforth connect you. That's very strange. It was Metatron. But now I think, yes, I confirmed several times, it's now part of the other side.
Yep. So, yeah, so the thing about those energetic infections, most of the light workers are infected. And when they get into that grid of infected energy, it totally distorts the readings that people are getting, totally distorts their judgment and their perceptions. And in that case, when people are infected, muscle testing will not get very effective in that case. However, in those cases, the people will generally be in total denial that there is such energetic infection to begin with. If you acknowledge that there is such energetic infection and that pretty much everyone is infected at some level, then you can measure to what extent that you are infected. And then you're able to measure whether that is causing massive distortion or not. But you need to have that self-awareness and recognition of the situation to be able to measure it, because generally the infection will tell people that, I mean, they're psychically trying to influence people into thinking that like everything's going to be okay, and like all of that is just like delusional ego.
Yeah. Well, something about...
So if the infection is bad, you're going to think right now that what we're thinking, we thought that it's like nearly a quarter of the population of the world population is dead, and you'll think that that's just this delusional ego, and like we're just talking bullshit. If you're not too infected, you'll be listening to what I'm saying, recognizing that there is this energetic infection that feels like a stain of ink coming in your head, in your arms, coming to your body, very, very hard to remove. And then you can look at how can you measure the level of infection and how can you reduce. And actually trying to transmit or play with that energy, it's too powerful. That comes from the ultraverse. It comes from the corrupted rays of creation, very hard to remove. One of the most effective ways is actually eating a cigar, like candies like this.
Or coffee with plenty of sugar.
Coffee with plenty of cream and sugar looks a lot more effective than black sugar.
All right.
Now we're buying every day some vanilla cappuccino with like 10 pesos refill of a big cup at the OXXO or at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, Etienne, the
Buying
other
that
thing
pretty much
that
daily.
the other thing that I notice about my accuracy, it waxes and wanes. Sometimes I'm very, very accurate. Sometimes I'm just way off, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I noticed. And of course, I use my intuition. And nowadays, it's so important because I have to give advice to my family, uh, what to do and stuff like that. And it has been very, very useful using discernment and um, your intuition and listen to your heart. Yeah.
And I don't know if you notice, as we're doing this interview, we talk about certain topics, and then when I touch certain topics, the energies get like really, really. Then I'm eating a couple of those candies, and then the energies kind of like lighten up again.
Yeah. You're right.
I
Well,
mean, like if you haven't done it, like go back through the recording and pay attention to this.
yeah. Well,
But avoid like chocolates, sugar, white sugar, things like that is good, but not high fructose corn syrup. That one.
oh yeah.
Oh, one weird thing. I haven't mentioned it yet on like Facebook or anywhere, but we measured that. It's kind of weird with Coke. In most countries, it contains sugar. In the States, it contains high fructose corn syrup, except the Mexican Coke that contains sugar, except in Mexico, where
Ooh.
the Coke in Mexico, it actually says sugar and high fructose corn syrup. So it's only the Mexican Coke in the US that contains sugar. But measure this. How healthy is the high fructose corn syrup that you find in the US Coke? I'm measuring like something like minus 315%, something like that.
Well, I just make a quick measurement or insight into it. That one, of course, is terrible. The US Coke is
Now,
terrible.
how healthy is the Mexican high fructose corn
Yeah, just
syrup
hang
that
on.
they put in the Coke? This one I'm measuring like 92%. Measuring like 88% for the sugar and 92 for the high fructose corn syrup. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, we have to
Anyway,
look. We have to look into it when I have more concentration.
that's the problem with muscle testing. You get into a lot of information that makes absolutely no sense until you really
Yeah.
go down the rabbit hole.
What are your opinion, Etienne, of this recent occurrence of these monoliths coming out in various places in the world? This is the recent most
Complete
mystery.
distraction. Look, like I look at the video. He went up to it to look at in person. He saw like it's very like thin metal plates, cheap construction. You see the space between it with those kind of like metal bolts with a hole in the like round bolts with a hole in the middle. It's very modern construction, and you see like the trace of soil in the ground. So that's like nothing old or it's very modern, cheap construction.
I see.
And then one disappears, reappears elsewhere in the world, and reappears elsewhere in the world. So it's not just one person doing that; it's a group coordinating that, doing very modern construction. It's not anything ancient or anything. So it looks to me just like pure distraction, so that people don't actually pay attention to the things that really matter at this point, which are the things that we're discussing here. So correct me if I'm wrong, like, does it feel to you that there's anything else than pure distraction while they're conducting military operations to kill the people?
Yeah,
Is there
I
anything
really
else
haven't
to it?
taken a deep look into it, but on the surface, I couldn't get anything significant, and then I just leave it as that.
Yeah, it's just, when you say it's just modern construction, then it's just they're playing with
Yeah.
people's mind to just create distractions. It's just typical tactics.
The recent developments in Australia, Etienne, is a bit of concern because they're going to pass a bill that is very draconian
Oh, I
in the
haven't
state
heard
of
about that.
Victoria. Yeah, it's just about a couple of days ago in the state of
Okay.
Victoria. But the bill will also cover the whole of Australia. in very law, technical law terms. So there are lots of things going on in Australia, especially with the government, and people are becoming aware, and there's a lot of confusion there as well. I'm just updating you. If you have time, you can.
What is that, Bill? What does it say basically?
I just saw it yesterday, and I don't remember. They're going to pass
Yeah,
it.
well, I mean, yeah, maybe it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, one thing we haven't mentioned yet that is actually like a little bit important is that the coronavirus is gone.
Yep.
So, I mean, in terms of the energetic infections, it was coming through, not from, but through the black cubes that probably a lot of people have heard about. The black cube of Saturn, then it's anchored into the core of the Earth. And those black cubes actually were meant to protect the rays of creation from that kind of corruption, to avoid having groups trying to fight for the control of those rays of creation. It was supposed to prevent that. But then the cubes got destroyed and corrupted anyway. But just recently, we gained access back into the cubes. They were built by ancient builders race. Recently, we got access back into the cubes, and we've did a partial restoration of the cubes. There was like a corrupted green emerald snake guardian related to the cubes, so killed the guardian and reactivated the proper guardians in it. And that essentially, that's restoration. So two things, that's restoration of the cubes could not fix the energetic corruption of the rays of creation, because that corruption comes from beyond this universe. But second, that restoration of the cubes essentially killed the coronavirus.
Wow.
Literally killed it.
Wow.
That's what was fueling the virus, and why no amount of energy work could heal it. All those things that are fueled by those corrupted rays of creation, these are the things that no matter what amount of energy work we do on it, nothing is going to you destroy it, keep regenerating itself endlessly, and nothing can get rid of it. Like that happened with the virus, that happened with chemtrails, that seems to be like a network of AI drones flying in through portals and then disappearing through portals. Some people, like a lot of us, have been working endlessly on it, and it just keeps on going. And all those things that just won't go away no matter what amount of energy work you do on it. It's generally fueled by those corrupted rays of creation, because these are genuine ascension codes. You cannot destroy those codes. It's just that the codes got hacked. So you cannot destroy those ascension codes, but we need to fix the hacks. So that, I think for the most advanced light worker who've been working on those things, that explains quite a few things.
Yeah, I would like to add something about the COVID virus, Etienne. Yes, I confirm there's no more virus in the world.
Wait, just 1 second. Wait.
Le petit problème, c'est qu'il dans le portier un monstre. Bon, non, un monstre, non. 50 monstres. Et avec lui, il y a aussi dans sa porte 50 autres monstres.
Okay.
Mais de notre type, il y a 1000 monstres de plus. En total, de différents monstres, il y a 1000 de plus.
Physique ou énergétique?
2 physiques et le reste énergétique. Aussi, ici seulement on a un, mais dans la maison, lui, il y a deux.
Okay.
Et on doit faire attention, et si on veut s'en débarrasser de ça, puis il devrait installer Roblox et chercher un jeu qui s'appelle The World of Hell ou Agony.
Ben, on était en plein milieu de l'entrevue, on peut pas arrêter ça en plein milieu.
Mais après. Okay. Mais ce serait important de enlever ça, sinon...
Ok, fait qu'on peut terminer l'entrevue, mais il faudrait faire ça après?
Peut-être, oui. Mais aussi, si on le fait de plus de temps après, ça va venir plus de monstres.
Ok,
Et j'ai plus de mal à la tête.
Ok, fait qu'on va faire ça après l'entrevue. Ok, peut-être je peux te venir sur caméra, puis je vais leur dire, je vais dire à tout le monde ce que tu viens de dire. Oh, I have a message from Sophia, like rather important message that there's like 50 monsters right outside of my, like we left the house because it was no longer safe. We're in a hotel for the whole week. Now they do not like what we're talking about. There's about 50 monsters, a couple of them physical, others energetic, right outside the door here. And Hawk, you also have a lot of monsters around you. So she was just warning me about that some people were getting a little bit annoyed with the topics we were talking about. And she's got a lot of non-conventional methods. And the method that she recommends, like, okay, we can go finish with this interview, but right after, we have to play a computer game called, like on the Roblox. Go on Roblox.com. Then there's a game, Tower of Hell.
Ou Adami.
Yeah, probably more a Tower of Hell. The Tower of Hell, and playing that game, and maybe for tonight, like playing at least a couple of games at that, and that like it's kind of like crazy hard, but he gets really stressed. But it's actually resolving a lot of the portal stuff and clearing a lot of the attacks. Nothing, still exactly sure like why it works so well, or how she came into that idea, but actually it does work. So she highly recommends that. It's very important that after the interview that we like spend at least a half an hour. Well, but your other job, well, yes, spending half an hour playing a Tower of Hell to that will be effective for clearing those attacks. That's her message.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd just like to finish a little bit of, before we finish the interview.
Huh?
Tu peux m'enlever la chose pour que je fasse la moitié du travail.
Okay.
Et après ça, tu vas faire ça.
Okay. Okay. So what were you saying?
Oh yeah, negativity. Well, I just want to say a few words about the COVID virus. It's gone, but the
yeah. Just for that, so I was saying, so yes, the virus is gone, but because the virus is no longer doing its job in the same, and now they're going to greatly intensify the military operations. So that's why you're seeing it's like Seoul is putting like a very, very high alert, and Italy is going into curfew, and then Australia is passing new laws. All those things means intensified military operations to kill the people because the virus is no longer doing its job.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful about those things.
Right. And it's also that the COVID test kits are actually not the correct ones, and they're giving more positives, false positives, and that is why the numbers are going up despite the virus is no more. So that is what I want to tell everybody.
Yeah, that's one thing. So the virus is no longer there. The tests are fake and like giving a lot of fake positives. So the next step is we need to make sure that those tests are giving negatives, and you've been working a lot of that, and I really thank you for that.
Yeah.
And the other part is that they will manipulate any information. Like they when they're getting nervous like that, they'll try to kill as many people in as little time as possible before people react. Because like up until now, nobody in the whole truth movement realized that this is happening, that the military is going door to door, killing the people in their own houses. And people are getting killed in the whole variety of reasons, being poisoned and stuff, being fed to monsters and but now they get nervous. They'll want this month is going to be very heavy military operations like that. But now to recover those artifacts, I need to get into Europe. That's in complete lockdown. So that's the next question. How am I going to get to Germany, Italy? So one, need to get rid of the virus. Two, need to get rid of the test kits so that they turn negative. Three, we need to get out the awareness of what's happening with those military operations. because nobody has been talking about it, and it's been going on for a while. It's just intensifying now. So the awareness needs to get out so that people can do something about it. And then what's next? Then we'll need to do some, I mean, definitely we'll need to do a lot of energetic intervention to basically kill that movement of killing civilians with those military operations. That's a whole movement. We need to kill it down to the roots. That's what we need to do.
Okay, Etienne.
Then we need to reopen the borders.
Yeah.
Then we'll be able to go in. Then the other thing that's a little bit concerning, like if going into Europe right now, even if I could, is that they do a COVID test on, like a fourth COVID test on anyone like flying in. And those COVID tests contain nanobots. So they're using that just like vaccines to inject nanobots into your body. But I guess we could just destroy could just destroy the nanobots or destroy the thing they're injecting in anyway. But that's just one more concern on top of all the other ones. So yeah, just getting into Europe, it's not like just just go on a honeymoon to Italy. No, it's a little bit more challenging than that. Okay, and that's why we need to we're currently running a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for financing all of that trip. And the hotel that we're living in, and haven't been able to eat any of the food in there. Like a lot of other topics around all of that we haven't even touched yet. But I think would be more important to talk about, like that traveling to Europe, that would be a better priority. And the other stuff I can talk about it in other videos. See the video Journey to the World that I released, and the one about the reduction of world population.
Okay, Etienne, anything more before I close this interview?
So the main thing right now is how are we going to get to Europe? So you've done some work on test kits and all of that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could do some group meditation with the viewers. Yeah, at least doing something quick.
Okay.
And starting something now. At least for now, maybe doing a group meditation to spread out the awareness. That will be good enough for a first step. Because we're merely planting the seeds. Lightworkers are really late in the game here. We need to plant the seed and spread out the awareness into the collective consciousness.
All right.
So let's do that. Let's just bring the truth of what's happening. And so the demons, witches, it's like the latest video I released about that's called 22.9% of the world population is dead in 2020. That video killed like 96% of all demons on the planet. That is a pretty that was fun. And almost all of the witches are dead, it seems. So that helped a lot, but it also annoyed a few people. But yeah, well, anything I do annoys them. But anyway, what was I saying? That yeah, so you need to bring that awareness. Oh yeah, so the coronavirus is no longer a threat. And some of the threats are like the army of monsters being fed through portals. I think it's not as bad as I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Anyway. I think the main issue to focus on right now, it's not like there's a lot of different causes, but the one we need to focus on right now is the military operations by humans. Like the non-human stuff, can leave it to non-humans to deal with it. The human stuff, we humans should be dealing with it. That's my perspective. And the military operations, that's what is keeping all the countries locked down. So we need to bring out the awareness that the military is closing the borders, causing everybody to stay home while they kill the people in their homes, and so that while nobody realized what's going on, because 92% of the people, those that are killed so far, are unemployed, and 82% are lonely. So they're going after people that can disappear without anyone hardly noticing. 99% outside of the big cities for now. So they're mostly, those operations are like, it's like all small villages in France, Germany, like there's a lot of those small villages in Europe. They just go in those villages and take family by family, crediting it to the coronavirus. So they mostly go after lonely people that, or remote people that nobody will see that they're gone. But we need to bring the awareness out about this operation. So let's do this. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. Visualize a tree and a river with you standing in between. The tree represents your unique essence, and the river represents the universal flow of energy. Oh, geez. My river is completely black and full of bones and blood. What does your river look like? Normally it should be like a clean, nice, clean river.
A bit turbulent.
A little bit turbulent? Okay. Hawk, do you have a couple of monsters around your river? The ones like right outside your door?
No.
No?
No.
Seeing a couple of monsters around, anyway. Okay, so go behind the tree, and so that both the tree and, oh wait, if the water in the river in front of you flows from right to left, you are at the right place. Otherwise, go to the other side of the river where you will find another tree. So now if you have the tree in front of you, the water should flow from right to left. Then go behind the tree, put your back against the tree so that both the tree and the river are behind you. And ask the tree to connect you to the plane of the absolute, beyond time and space. And from the plane of the absolute, use the teal flame. So the teal flame is the frequency of the plane of the absolute, and it's good to transmute energies, transmute all the energies around you. And now let's all form a circle around a ball of energy. Well, let's all form a circle and we'll create a ball of energy. So now let's bring in a shiny white scepter. And we'll use that shiny white scepter energy to create a ball of energy with the intent of bringing the awareness of the military operations into the collective consciousness of light workers and truth seekers. Let's all bring in that shiny white light with the intent of revealing the truth to all light workers and truth seekers. Let's call half of the guardians of the multiverse are here to help us with this. It's that serious. If Earth falls, the entire universe is going to collapse, and the multiverse with it. And that's explained a bit more in my video. So half the guardians of the multiverse are here to assist us. So let's ask them for help to bring in that awareness of the military operations and bring it to the collective consciousness of truth seekers and light workers. Oh yeah, they're definitely helping. Can also ask them if they can help us with clearing some of the monsters that are around me. Well, maybe we'll do it with the Tower of Hell game after. So for now, let's just focus on this for 10 minutes. Then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll need to play some game to clear some of those entities that are aiming at us. because we're really touching a topic that some forces do not want anyone to know about it, or those who know to not survive with the information. So our best protection is to give out the information wide openly so that everyone knows about it. And then you won't be targeted as much.
Yep.
Okay, it initiated the process. I think we're better to wrap it up now and like play the game to integrate those energies. I think that's enough for now. Anything else to add before?
Oh no, Etienne, I just want to share a screen. I hope I can.
I think we're better to wrap up within 2 minutes and play the game.
Okay, I'm wrapping up. I call upon the Lord Buddha Gautama, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, to bless all of us and to bless Etienne and his family on his trip around the world to collect the relics successfully and return. And all light workers, may the Gautama shower his protection on all of us. Etienne, a bientôt.
Yeah, and make sure to give the link about where they can donate for to finance that journey. Oh yeah, that's the thing. We want to film the whole thing. We want to I want to buy like a GoPro camera, film everything in 4K, have like HD footage of the whole travel. And then so that I'll put all those videos on YouTube, Facebook, and publish that, so that people can follow us throughout our trip. We already have like a lot of very interesting stuff we've been seeing, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more interesting stuff that we will see on the road. So make sure to give them that that link on the GoFundMe for the journey to the world. And we already have like about $6,000 raised in 2 days. So it's starting well. And I got the feeling that this can really it's going to turn out pretty interesting the way this campaign is going to go. So anything else to add?
No more. All the best.
So now my daughter is already playing Tower of Hell to help integrate and deal with these energies. And I'll do some energy work in her method. And then, so it's been great connecting with you. And let's talk soon. All right, bye.
Bye.